Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala nabiyhi wa mustafah wa ba'd. All praise due to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, none can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My dear brothers and sisters, welcome to another live edition of your program, Ask Huda. Another beautiful and blessed day in the blessed month of Ramadan. Today in the Middle East it is already the 16th of Ramadan. May Allah make all of us amongst those who will be the utaqa during the blessed month of Ramadan, those whom Allah the Almighty will set free from hellfire, and they will never be touched by any torment on the Day of Judgment. Ameen. Our phone numbers beginning with area code are 002, then 01005469323. Alternatively, area code 002, then 0238555132. And the Facebook page is the Muhammad Salah Official. The first question we have is from James Othman. James says, it has become widespread that imams are refusing to perform the funeral prayer over Muslims who have committed acts of terrorism. Is there an evidence from the Quran or Sunnah to back up this? First of all, brothers and sisters, subhanallah, I just saw the questions right before I walked into the studio. So we do not pick and choose, we do not engineer even the calls. And if there is something serious and the Muslim community is in need for an answer for it, we do our best to answer, as the brother said exactly, in the light of the Quran and the Sunnah. A person who committed suicide, blew himself and killed people, innocent people, in the UK, in Sweden, in Australia, in any country. I'm talking here about countries where Muslims are minority and non-Muslims are vast majority. Non-Muslims, variety of people, maybe Christians, maybe Jews, maybe atheists, maybe Hindus. People are walking in the street. Islam completely forbids that, absolutely abhors that. This is ridiculous. And if any person may think that by doing so you are offering a service to Islam or Muslims, or you're presenting your case or making a point, you're absolutely wrong. You're gravely mistaken. And in this case, the imams have the right not to lead the funeral prayer, or not to pray even the funeral prayer on this person who have taken the lives of innocent people and taken the life of himself and committed suicide, no matter what was his reasoning, his excuse or justification, because this is entirely forbidden in our religion. So in the hadith you asked about a reference. Okay, Jabir ibn Samurah radiyallahu anh narrated, and the hadith is a sound hadith. Here we're talking about an authentic reference collected by Imam Muslim, may Allah have mercy on him. He said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam during his life, أتي برجل قتل نفسه بمشاقص. المشقص, which is the pointed tip of the arrow, it is as sharp as knife. So he simply cut his veins with the sharp blade, and he took his life. And when he died, they brought him to the masjid so that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would lead the funeral prayer. And leading the funeral prayer, or the funeral prayer in Islam, is an invocation of mercy. Oh Allah, have mercy on this person. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the other hadith, if a Muslim dies and 40 people who do not associate partners to Allah in worship attended his funeral prayer, Allah the Almighty will accept their intercession for him. He will be protected from hellfire. He will be saved and receive salvation on the Day of Judgment. So the Prophet ﷺ refused to offer the funeral prayer for this person who have taken his life. And he was only taking his own life. He didn't kill others. He just took his own life. So the Prophet ﷺ refused. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, may Allah have mercy on him, said, also among those whom it is disliked to attend their funeral prayer, al-ghal, a person who committed theft from the public fund, then he died. Al-qatil, the murderer, a person who deliberately killed innocent people. Wal-madeen, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam refused to lead the funeral prayer of somebody who died while in debt. That needs to be explained as why. Those who allow themselves to rip off the credit cards and banks, and because they live in some societies, they think that can do whatever, then afterward I file for bankruptcy and get away with the money, then I can build a house or buy a property. This is absolutely forbidden. Here I'm talking from an Islamic perspective. I don't care where and which country you do that in any country, this is absolutely forbidden. He said, Sallu ala sahibikum, find somebody else to lead or offer his funeral prayer. I'm not. So the scholars concluded that this is to condemn the act, the heinous act of killing oneself or killing others or stealing or committing theft. So the Imam has the right to do that, absolutely. And that is backed up with proofs from the sound Sunnah as explained earlier. May Allah guide us to what is best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Ashfaq from United Arab Emirates, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
I'm doing fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking.
Ramadan Mubarak to you and all the brothers and sisters in Islam.
Barakallah feek. Same to you, Brother Ashfaq. May Allah bless you and your family.
Ameen, ameen. Sheikh, I have a question. Recently we did an Umrah, and then we came back to Jeddah, stayed here for a day. Then we went to Medina, and then came back to Jeddah.
Yeah.
And stayed in Jeddah for 4 or 5 days. And then on the starting of the Ramadan, we did an Umrah from Jeddah. That is, we assumed a haram for Jeddah. So because we asked the scholar, they said, no, you can wear a haram from Jeddah. But some of the scholars said, no, you should have gone to Taif and then made an intention there. Could you just clarify this with me, Sheikh?
Okay. Jazakallah khairan, Brother Ashfaq. Shukran. Briefly, if any person is heading in this direction, going to KSA, and in his intention he is going to perform Umrah, so before entering Mecca or the route that leads to Mecca, you must assume the intention of Ihram from the nearest miqat or whatever miqat you pass by. In other words, people are coming from Egypt, from the United States, from any country, but they make transit in Egypt. Then they will board the plane and they will go to Jeddah airport, then to Mecca directly. In this case, the miqat will be about 20 minutes before landing to Jeddah airport. So in the plane, the captain will announce, and you must make the ihram. Why? Because you're going to perform Umrah or you perform in Hajj, and that is your intention. But meanwhile, I was visiting some family members and I was planning to stay for a few days in Jeddah. Even though there is overlapping in the intentions, the intention of going for Umrah takes over. You should not cross the miqat before assuming the intention of Ihram. Alhamdulillah, I came, I performed my Umrah, then I went to Medina, then I'm free. I'm visiting family members and I'm staying with them in Jeddah. Then I decided afterwards, since I'm in Jeddah, let me perform Umrah in Ramadan. Since Umrah in Ramadan, its reward is equivalent to performing Hajj. Then you perform Ihram from your location, from Jeddah, from the house or the hotel which you are in. Why? Because Jeddah is within the miqat. There is no miqat from Jeddah to Mecca. It is past Jeddah. So in this case, the people who are resident in Jeddah or staying in Jeddah, even visitors, to perform Umrah, you make the intention from your location. Coming back from Medina, you said, I'm going to Jeddah, but I will do another Umrah. Then you should not cross the miqat, which is Dhil Hulayfa, okay, or even Al-Juhfa, without making another Ihram for Umrah, because your intention is that you're planning to perform Umrah again. I hope that is clear. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brother Harun from Algeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, how are you?
Doing fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Brother Harun.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Sheikh, I really have a problem concerning my dad.
Yeah?
In 1973, he committed an accident, a road accident, and 4 people were killed in his car.
Okay, your dad hit some poor people in a car accident.
In a car accident, and they were killed. 4 people in his car, inside his car, so they were killed.
The sound is not clear. Why don't you just say what happened exactly? I mean, did your dad kill some people in a car accident mistakenly? Is this what
Yes.
you're saying?
That's it. That's it.
Okay, so what is the question then?
There was a crash between his car and another one.
Okay.
Yes. And he made nothing. He did nothing at all. And now he's a bit old. He's 70 years old. So what should he do in order to repent, in order to... And by the way, Sheikh, the families of these people who were killed, forgave him, which means there was no problem at all.
Okay, go ahead.
Then what should we do in order to...
How many people were killed, Harun?
Sorry?
How many people were killed?
4, I said, 4.
4 people. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay, one more
Yes,
question.
and-
One more question.
Sorry, Chef. Sorry, Chef.
Whose
So
fault?
what should he do? What should he do? In 1973, which means a bit long.
Akhi, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. And whose fault or mistake was it?
The other cars, which means it's not like that.
Okay, my question is,
The other-
was he driving?
other car-
Was he driving in the opposite direction? Did he break the light, the red light? What was the case exactly?
Which means the other one was drank alcohol, and he crushed them.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. And your dad did not notice them whatsoever. He just happened to get involved in the car collision because the other driver was drunk.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. طيب. جزاك الله خيرا.
بارك الله.
وفيك بارك. That's a very serious question. You know, in Surah An-Nisa, Allah the Almighty said, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ أَن يَقْتُلَ مُؤْمِنًا إِلَّا خَطَأً ومن يقتل مؤمنا خطأ فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة ودية مسلمة إلى أهله ومن قتل مؤمنا خطأ فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة ودية مسلمة إلى أهله إلا أن يصدقوا. This is the ayah which is a reference in the case of an accidental killing somebody by mistake. So it is not permissible for a believer to kill a believer except by mistake. Obviously he did not mean it, and if it happens, then the ransom is as follows: فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ, you free a slave neck, a Muslim slave, in addition to the diyah, which is the blood money to be given to the family of the murdered person. Unless إِلَّا أَن يَصَّدَّقُوا, unless if they pardon and they say, well, it was a mistake and no problem, we're not taking the blood money. It's a lot of money, by the way. Then Allah the Almighty said, فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ, and if a person cannot afford because there are no slaves anymore, فَصِيَامُ شَهْرَيْنِ مُتَتَابِعَيْنِ تَوْبَةً مِّنَ اللَّهِ. Okay, so in this case you will have to fast for 2 consecutive months. So the diyah consists of 2 things: تحرير رقبة مؤمنة, in addition to the blood money, freeing a slave neck, a Muslim slave, and to pay the blood money. The blood money may be pardoned by the family of the murdered person. Like in your case, you said that they said no problem, they pardoned that. And that is the diya. In case that you cannot afford or we don't have slaves anymore, the alternative is to fast for 2 consecutive months. That if the person had a role in the killing, even by accident. Like he was driving while too sleepy, or he saw the car coming in the opposite direction, but he still insisted. Okay, so even though it is the other party's fault, he's blameworthy. But if the person was driving his car, then another person, drunk, driving while drunk, came from an unexpected direction and hit your car, and as a result he died, then you don't owe anything. No fidya, no blood money, no ransom. Why? Because you have no part, no role in it whatsoever. You are not even aware of what is happening. You yourself are hurt. So may Allah have mercy on those who passed away, and may Allah forgive your dad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Amber from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam alaikum. Sheikh, how are you?
I'm doing fine, alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking, Sister Amber.
Yeah, Sheikh, I have 3 questions.
Yeah.
My first question is regarding Zakat. I want to know which of the cases is better. I mean, we always give Zakat, you know, like by giving rations to, I mean, like giving food to the people. And is it giving food better or giving cash?
Okay, obviously
better?
You're inquiring about
the
fitra, zakatul fitr.
No, that is not fitra. I mean, I'm talking about the zakah. Zakah we give like, you know, like for around 200 or 300 people, families. We fill their houses with food like groceries, like
You're
like
talking
dry
about
groceries
paying
for the whole
zakah
month of
on one's
Ramadan.
wealth in the form of food.
Yes.
That is not permissible, Sister Amber. Okay?
Oh.
You're not an organization that sponsors like orphans and you feed them, or poor people and you feed them. No. You are an individual who pays you zakah. If you owe zakah 25 grands, the 25 grands must be paid in cash to the recipients who are eligible. You do not decide what to buy for them, tuna fish, macaroni, or biryani. This is none of your business. They know better. Maybe they don't want to eat this kind of food. They would rather buy medication or send his kid to school or go for an operation. They know better. So cash is cash. Gold, now you don't pay gold, you pay rather cash as well. Trade and investment, stock shares, you evaluate all of that on the day of paying your zakah, or the days around the time paying your zakah. And if all what you owe that much money, it must be given. It can be given to one person who is eligible. It can be given to more of the 8 categories explained in ayah number 60, chapter number 90. Mainly the poor and the needy ones. إنما الصدقات للفقراء والمساكين. You don't give them food. You follow me, Sister Amber?
Okay. Sheikh, I just want to know, like, even if fulfilling the necessities is not required, like, I mean, giving wheat, rice, or anything for the whole month of Ramadan. I mean, these are the necessities. They need to break their fast, or, you know, it's
yeah, Sister Amber, Allah didn't ask you to buy food for them. There is another zakah. It is called zakatul fitr, to be given in the form of food. But zakatul mal, zakah on wealth, it must be given of the same value, cash. Now we're dealing with cash. It must be given in cash. Then they decide to do whatever they want to do. Okay? If you and everyone give people food, mashallah, you give them a couple thousand worth wheat or rice, and they have now a storage, and this person and that person, they would open a shop to sell. They know better what is their need, and their priority, they can determine it better. Okay, barakallah fik. Of course, this is different than if I'm having a non-profit organization, I'm running an orphanage, and Sister Amber gave me 5 grains, and she says, I'm just giving an example, this is for the orphans. I'm not going to give each orphan $5 or 50. I'm going to buy them the clothes because I'm their guardian. The orphanage is their guardian. I'm going to buy them the books. I'm going to buy them the dental care, the shoes, their basic needs, the food. I'm actually supporting them throughout their lives from your zakawat. So that's why I'm eligible to convert that into the form of food, clothes, medication, shoes, and all of that. But you, as a zakah payer, if you owe zakah on your wealth and trade in cash, then it must be paid in cash, and let them decide what to do with it. It is quite interesting that meanwhile, while I'm answering a question like that, where people like to pay their zakah, which is supposed to be in cash, to pay it in the form of food or in the form of clothes, they would argue and they say that they need this more. Maybe within the same episode, you will have people call in and say, Sheikh, we normally pay zakatul fitr in the form of cash, not in the form of food, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Why? They would argue because people are more in need for the cash, not for the food. Oh, subhanallah. You know what? If we just stick to the text, it will be a win-win situation. Everybody will be happy. For zakatul fitr, the Prophet ﷺ, as in the sound hadith, فرض رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم صدقة الفطر صاعا من تمر أو صاعا من شعير أو صاعا من زبيب أو. So it is ordained in the form of giving a measure of food. We don't have that sa', the measure, anymore. So they weight the contents of the measure of a sa', it happened to be 2.5 kilogram approximately of food per each person. Another person would come and say, I just got a call from the United States a couple of days ago. In our community, you only have a handful of people whom are eligible for the zakah. So we give them already the zakah. And the rest of the community are very rich. If we pay them, if every one of us would give them food, it would be like, they would have loads of food, of rice, beyond their need. They will end up selling it. So can we give it to them in a cash? Or we have a person who's coming raising fund because there is another area in another part of the world who are desperately in need for help. I said, yes, it is permissible to give that zakat to this person, even zakatul fitr, because your community is satisfied. They are not in need for any zakat anymore or any charity. So it is permissible to transfer it to another country and let them buy them their basic needs from this money. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sister Halima from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Barakallahu fiki, Sister Halima. Same to you.
Sheikh, I learned that one is not supposed to talk during azan.
Okay.
So, what if you're reciting the Quran? Should you stop until the azan is over, or you can continue with the recitation?
Okay. Thank you, Sister Halima. In the hadith, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, إِذَا سَمِعْتُمُ الْمُؤَذِّنَ فَقُولُوا مِثْلَ مَا يَقُولُ. Whenever you hear the caller to the prayer, say as he says. Repeat after him. Obviously, until he reaches حَيَّ عَلَى الصَّلَاةِ and حَيَّ عَلَى الْفَلَاحِ, then you say لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله, which means there is no mighty, no power but with Allah. Otherwise, every statement he says, you repeat after him exactly as he does. Allahu Akbar, you say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah, you say La ilaha illallah. Then you all know the supplications after the dua, which opens for you all the doors of heaven and remits all your previous sins, and all of it. It's beautiful. So the privilege of repeating after the mu'adhin is huge. Now, this is an act of worship. Listening to the adhan and repeating after the mu'adhin and saying the supplications after is an act of worship, is such a great, praiseworthy act of worship. Reciting the Quran too is an act of worship. But let me ask you, the Sister Halima, how much time does the mu'adhin normally take? How many minutes? 3 to 5 minutes? Okay. Hold the Quran or pause your recitation until you listen to the mu'adhin and repeat after him and say the dua. So you get the reward of reciting Quran whenever the mu'adhin is not on, and you get the reward of repeating after the mu'adhin. It's beautiful virtues in both. Listening to the mu'adhin and repeating after him is mere recommended. So it is not a wajib. So if I was on the phone and I have to finish a conversation, it's permissible. Even if you decided to continue reciting your Quran, it is permissible. But I'm talking here about the preference, to give its time its due right, which is now its adhan. Okay, let me listen to the mu'adhin and repeat after him and say the invocation after. Thank you, Sister Halim. Assalamu alaikum. Saad from Sudan. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sheikh. Barakallahu fi.
Wa fika barak.
My first question is, do you prefer that to recite Quran a lot? That means do 3 khatmas, 4, or just focus and try to understand better? I mean, tadabbur. Which one is better? It's my first question.
Okay.
A second question that is like a little bit personal, that I am like 24 years old, and many people around me, they think that they consider me as like a sheikh or something, because sometimes I give lessons in masjid, and I'm not sheikh or something, just I know the information, I try to tell other Muslims about it. So I do some like lessons in the masjid, but this sometimes makes me like feel I have many contradictions. Maybe people think I am that good, but I don't think that. So this sometimes it stops me from doing this lesson. What's your advice for me? And thank you so much.
Thank you, Brother Saad from Sudan. All right. With regards to which is better, what is the preference? Reciting many khatmas in Ramadan in order to get a greater reward, or maybe reciting only once and understanding and comprehending what I'm reciting. In the light of the opinions of the scholars, and in the light of what Allah the Almighty demands from us, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ in Surah Muhammad and also in Surah An-Nisa. Pondering over the Quran and understanding the Quran is what matters most. And the companions, may Allah be pleased with them, were more concerned about pondering, fahm, and understanding the Quran. There comes also that the season, because Ramadan is a month of the Quran. So you can alternate between recitation and some time of comprehending and understanding the meaning of certain ayahs. Like one of the best ways to do it is, while you're reciting, you come across an ayah. It is pressing that I need to learn the meaning of this ayah. Mark it down. Ayah number 25, chapter number 15. Okay, and once you finish your recitation, you can open on your app, on your tab, or you open the book and read the tafsir of this ayah. Because what happens sometimes, that the person may get sucked in reading tafsir, and it can take the whole day. It's so beautiful. Oh my God, how come I didn't learn about all of that before? And one thing leads to another. Many of the Imams, such as Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, used to give preference to the Quran. He would suspend all his classes and learning and teaching during Ramadan, and he will devote the time for the recitation of the Quran. But because in the remaining 11 months he was studying the tafsir and the hadith and fiqh and all of that. So the ideal way to do it is, you have a sabaq today to recite. If you want to recite 3 paras, as I said, it would only take between 2 to 2.5 hours every day. Every ayah you think that there is a person need to learn its meaning and understanding, okay, then write it down, mark it down, and afterward start studying those ayat. It will be very helpful. Then inshallah also after Ramadan there will be a lot of pending ayat that you need to learn their meaning. Start studying from the Quran from beginning to end. Nowadays, by the grace of Allah, it has become so easy to learn the meaning of the Quran on audio materials, or through reading, through watching programs. So it's very accessible. You can listen to it while you're driving your vehicle, while you're doing your physical activities. But in Ramadan, do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Remains for us less than half of Ramadan. Less than half of Ramadan. Try to recite as much as you can of the Quran. The brothers and the sisters who do not know how to read Arabic, I suggested you in the beginning of Ramadan, listen to the Quran audio. And I'm not very much interested in those reciters who have beautiful sound, melodious voice, but they are not following the ahkam of the tajweed. That's why my preference is Sheikh Husari, Sheikh Minshawi, who would really soften your heart, Sheikh Abdul Basit, maybe, or any other reciter if you like. But I'm talking about if you really want to benefit of the recitation, and also your hearing would pick the right pronunciation of the letters and the proper ahkam of tajweed. Alhamdulillah, nowadays there is the entire Quran on CDs. Sheikh Abdul Basit is reciting, and the following ayah is the meaning in English. You can benefit out of that too, especially if you're driving. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from all of us. Your second question, brother Saad. This is one of the clocks of Satan. Sometimes he wants to slow down the preachers, the dua, by telling them that maybe you're showing off, maybe this is lack of sincerity, maybe people think you're too good and you're not. I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, give the classes and give da'wah. Meanwhile, I explain to people my capacity. If somebody asks me about a question, well, I would have to ask somebody, because I myself am not a scholar. I'm an engineer, but I'm just giving da'wah. I'm not qualified in this field. So this way you're respecting yourself, and you're not being tripped by Satan in order to slow you down or hinder you from the path of giving da'wah. And may Allah the Almighty make you one of the true scholars, inshaAllah. Abdullah ibn Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him and his father, said, إِنَّمَا الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. You should be 34 or 35, even if you're 50, you still can seek knowledge and you still can become a scholar. Brothers and sisters, we're going to take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a few minutes. Please stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Sister Amber from the KSA had 2 more questions. The first is concerning the preference for paying the zakat to a non-profit organization to redistribute it amongst the list of the poor people they have, or you take care of its distribution by self. Again, that is simply based on your ability of taking care of this by yourself. If you know that you have family members who are poor and in need, they are eligible for the zakat, why would I give it to a non-profit organization? I would begin by my family members who are poor. So this way, I suffice their needs, and I also get double reward. The reward for upholding the ties of kinship, and also the reward for giving or paying the zakat or giving in a charity. And that applies to both the voluntary charity or the mandatory zakah. A third question, she says the same. Giving money to be distributed to people who do that, or every once in a while we slaughter a cow or whatever and we distribute its meat. If you know certain people who are in need and you're capable of doing the distribution by yourself, I like to do that by myself. I enjoy it. I know people, especially if you live in a neighborhood and you have workers and you have a lot of poor people, they don't see any good from you. Why? Because you take all the money, you give it to a non-profit organization and they distribute it for you. One of the benefits of paying the zakah and giving in a charity is eliminating hatred, jealousy and envy. Because when the poor see the rich providing them with some of what Allah the Almighty have provided them with, they do not envy them. Rather, they pray for their blessings and their barakah and increase of wealth. So sometimes you do that, especially if you are capable. It doesn't hurt you. You have plenty of time, and you enjoy going to the poor people, to their houses one by one, and giving them a portion of the meat or giving them some cash. It is very enjoyable. Some people don't have access nor don't have any time to do that. A lot of doctors may come and say that, look, I'm busy 24/7 and I have 30 grands. I don't know what to do with them. Okay, well, there's this non-profit organization. It is reliable, it is authentic, and basically they feed the Syrian refugees on the borders. Perfect. That is the right choice. Okay, so it varies from an individual to another. There are also some times where there is a greater need at certain part of the world. In our society, there are some societies where, mashallah, they're all well off. And you hear that in Burma, our brothers and sisters are starving to death, or they're deprived from the basic means of livelihood. So, mashallah, in Malaysia, there are some non-profit organizations who collect the funds, such as An-Nawawi Institute. It's an educational institute, and I will be more than happy, inshallah, to list their account numbers and phone numbers so that people who would like to donate towards the Rohingyas and Muslim brothers and sisters in Burma. In this case, it is highly recommended. Those people are reliable. Those people are, we believe that they are righteous, alhamdulillah, and they will spend all your money towards the charity which is paid towards it, to feed or to shelter or to support the the Rohingyas and those who are truly in need. So it is highly recommended to pay your donations to those people. May Allah the Almighty guide us to what is best. The following question is Kalman Kaluga. Kaluga says, if a man and a woman were dating as boyfriends and girlfriends, but they like each other so much and they decided to get married, what will they do for the marriage to be halal or to be acceptable in Islam? Keep in mind that both have committed an act of adultery. May Allah have mercy on all of us. In Surah Al-Isra, in ayah number 32, Allah the Almighty says, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا. He said, لَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا. Don't you go near adultery. I love this ayah. It doesn't say do not commit adultery. It says don't you go near adultery. And how would you go near adultery? Dating, having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, going out together with a girl who is not lawful for you if you're a man, and if you're a woman, going out with a man who is not lawful for you. But I like him and I like her. I did my research and investigation in the West. Once in one of the youth camps, college students and high school students in the States, the camp started a few days, and in a few days you could see this boy and this girl became boyfriends and girlfriends, to the point that we would catch them actually in sexual relations. Okay, not just kissing and hugging, they go all the way. And a person would introduce his sister to me and say, my sister and her boyfriend. No shame whatsoever. Okay, and the word boyfriend means it is like us as Muslims, they are married. They can do everything, including sharing bed, having a husband and wife relationship. Just be careful not to get pregnant. You're too young. So take your precaution not to get pregnant because you're too young. In Islam, in Christianity, in Judaism, in every faith and religion, this is perceived as adultery. And Allah the Almighty said, don't go near adultery. Do not follow the means which would lead you to indulge into the act of fornication. I'll continue inshallah after this call. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Fadila from Sudan.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Sister Fadila.
My question is it permissible for someone to check the gender of her baby before delivery? Like, what is the Islamic ruling?
Okay, I did answer this before and even went further more in depth, but you're asking about checking the gender of the baby before giving birth, right?
Yes.
Okay. That is permissible because basically you're not doing anything other than the ultrasound, which will tell you the forecast based on the giving in the pictures or the images on the ultrasound that it's obviously this is a baby boy or a baby girl. So it is permissible, Sister Fadila. Make sure that the person who is doing the ultrasound for a female is a female, either doctor or technician. So I picked two of these guys, a boyfriend and a girlfriend. They were too young, and I knew that they just got to know each other a couple days ago, and they go all the way, they go intimate. So I asked her, based on what you decided to take him as a boyfriend, she says, well, he's cool, he's nice, okay, and you, my friend, he said she cares about me. Okay, so that simply allows you to do all the forbidden outside marriage. Why? Because he's cool, she cares about me, she looks nice, he's sweet, and all of that. Well, we all went through that. You know, even as a grown-up man or a grown-up woman, you may be impressed with a person of the opposite gender, obviously. I may see a woman and I like her. Simply because liking a woman, you just share bed with her. And if she likes you the same thing, of course not. So in Islam, as I said, like in every religion, not only in Islam, you like somebody, propose to them. In Islam, it tells us that you speak to the guardian, you like his daughter or his sister or the girl, and she agrees and she's given the consent, get engaged, visit with each other a few times in order to determine whether you're compatible or not, then get married. Make marriage simple. Once in one of these shops in New York City, I remember till this moment, it was like 20 years ago, I remember the shop and the occasion. I saw a man with 4 kids, different ages, a man and a woman. They walked to the store, and I was looking into some nice Italian suits, and there he asked for an Italian suit. But his condition was he wanted a similar suit for all the 4 boys, different ages. I think like 10 and down, 4 boys. So out of curiosity, I started chatting with him, and I just wanted to know. The first impression came to my mind that, well, this guy lost his wife and he's marrying another woman to look after his kids, and he wants them to also share the moment and all dress up like him. Then I figured out that this woman whom he is marrying is basically the mother of the 4 boys. And he said, we've been together for more than 10 years, then we decided that we really like each other, so we decided to get married. I was shocked. After having 4 boys, you were testing each other for so many years, and after having 4 boys, you decided to get married. And many cases like that, and even worse, in the research I did. May Allah the Almighty guide us to what is best. The answer to your question, after learning that it is haram to approach zina, dating, talking to a woman in a way that it is not permissible except for a husband and wife, is not permissible outside marriage relationship, and all of that, even if you do it online, this is all forbidden. You should stay away from that. Then now, alhamdulillah, you came back to your senses and you recognize it was wrong and this is a major sin. And in order to get married, both of you have to repent, sincere repentance, by stopping talking to each other, distancing yourself from each other. And afterward, if you're interested to get married, there must be something called bara'a, to make certain that she had at least one menses, to make certain she is not pregnant. Okay, because I'm going to marry her, but having a child outside marriage is an illicit relationship that produces and it results in a child out of wedlock. That's completely different than conceiving due to having a legitimate relationship. So after it is proven that she is not pregnant and you both have repented, now you can both get married. May Allah the Almighty forgive us all our sins and guide us to what is best and keep us rightly guided on the straight path. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. And brothers and sisters, see you tomorrow inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.